Welcome to an update for Still Faith Overhaul 2. The entire design for this patch here is meant to help Norsca achieve its goal of being a truly savage faction. So we're going to go over some of the new additions for Still Faith Overhaul's new update as it pertains to Norsca. But before we get into the nitty-gritty for Norsca, let's go over the big changes this will bring to your game. First off, Drunk Flamingo will be joining the team as a new script specialist. He's working on a variety of mods like the Sword of Cain AI tweaks, Legendary Lord Respec, Campaign Recruitment Events, Runic Forge, and a multitude of other mods too. So he's going to be a great guy to have on the team to help things out. And there's going to be 150 plus new skills that will be added for all Lords and Legendary Lords, many of them from Jerry Ruff. His mod, JR's Old World Skill Overhaul, is still fully compatible. There will be many new skills that have been added for Legendary Lords who didn't have as many before, so they should be truly fleshed out now. And there's also the ability for some technology to lock other technology, so that adds new things that can be done with that. Some regiments of renown were changed entirely in terms of weapons used, animations, and more, so they're not just a reskinned unit that has slightly better stats. And all lords on monstrous mounts can now besiege a town and attack right away. Okay, let's get to the campaign map now, and later we might come back over here to watch Wulfric take it to Elithanar. Here's a new addition that you may like. When you beat Archaon, you get a special reward, which is chaos units for Norsca. So if you choose to not follow the Ever-Chosen, you can beat the crap out of him, then incorporate his own units into your armies too. Meaning that Norsca now has an option for a lot more variety and longevity for their campaigns as you're trying to conquer the world. There are a variety of new abilities for Throg and Wulfric, but let's go over a few new additions for Wulfric over here. So we can see that he's got a bonus when fighting large units, not only for himself, but for all of his armies faction-wide. That is a +3. Then clearly you have the +15 for all mammoth units, and a income for raiding that has been increased by 25%. Down here, we're looking at a cheaper Marauder army. They're 25% cheaper. And beyond that, let's go look at what Throg has. Throg doesn't really get along with the Norscan tribes. He's got a 10% physical resistance for all Norscan Troll and Norscan Ice Troll units. His buildings are 10% cheaper. His upkeep for all Troll units, they're 10% cheaper. And over here, he'll raise public order by +2 in his own local province. And beyond that, he's got a bonus to tax rate, which is going to be up by 25%. Meaning that if he stands in his own town, he's going to make you a lot more money. Now let's go ahead into the actual game itself and check out some of the new additions, such as new stances. Right, before we get into the actual changes on the campaign map, skills of all factions for all lords have new effects, so they're actually worth taking now. Some even have more than one level to them, so make sure that you keep an eye out for that. Recruitment times for many units has been changed, so elites will take longer to recruit, but standard units will not take as long to recruit, meaning that you're probably going to field a lot of inexpensive or cheaper basic units where your elites will truly feel powerful and they will be a little bit more rare to pick up on the battlefield. Oh, and the community bug fix mod has been added too, which is a huge deal. If you haven't checked that out, it resolves a lot of issues in Warhammer 2. So now let's get into a little bit about the stances for Norsca. There are 2 new stances, one for when you move on land and one for when you move at sea. Let's go look over here. More importantly though, and this will change up how you play Norsca big time. Instead of having a faction that's slightly more barbaric than, let's say, the Empire, you have one that truly relies on sacking and raiding too. So whenever I play, which is going to be either today or tomorrow, I'm going to be raiding a lot. I'm going to be taking out my foes and trying to make as much money as I can. But your base raid income has been increased to 100%. Not only that, you get +3 to public order faction-wide. Every location that you own will pick up more public order whenever you're in a raiding stance. That could be raiding here, or that could be raiding camp. So you do have 2 options. Now if we look at it, there's a new addition, as I did mention before, and it's called Rampage. So you get a small vigor loss reduction. Your melee defense will go down by 5. Your melee attack will go up by 10. And you get a attribute called Rampage. And if you played the Lizardmen, you know what that's like. So whenever that unit gets hurt, they may go on a rampage. Alright. So beyond that, we do have some new buildings too. We'll go over skills in just a little while, but let's go check out some new buildings over here. There are 4 new building chains. You've got the Arena, which will lower the upkeep of armies in the province and increases their overall experience too. Like right over here, the Warriors Arena. Income from all buildings will go down. You'll get a Norscan Giant. That's going to be a huge change. I mean, imagine someone comes to attack you, you've got that guy there. So that'll be a great way for you to train up your army to get more public order and to make your units cheaper too, whenever they're in that local province. Over here, we have a stone monolith. And so if you look at that, your diplomatic relations with other tribes will go up by 5. It's like, hey, you like my god, I like your god, let's be friendly. Attrition plus 10% casualty suffered from chaos territory attrition, meaning that if any foes come nearby, they'll take more damage from that attrition. And their campaign movement range will go down by 10%, which is always very important. As to me, it was always very weird whenever they can move just as fast in your land. I mean, that really doesn't give you any home field advantage. It's like, hey, I know my fields, but somehow they know them just as well. And corruption will go up by plus 4. And you get a few other ones too. You've got, let's see, an arena in your outpost, which will lower your upkeep of armies in the province and increase their experience. And you also get pillars too. And that will lower the movement of enemies and adds chaos corruption, which is kind of like what we went over there. So you're going to have a lot of options here in terms of how you want to build things. Because I mean, usually in vanilla, you would get a format going. Okay, I'll build that here, this here, and it's all over. At least now you've got more choices and you've got benefits, but you've also got drawbacks too. We didn't go over Drakkar, so let's go back over here real quick and we'll go over Drakkar. So you're traveling at sea and you want to move a little bit further. Well, guess what? You certainly can. If you look at it now, I can't really move that far, but let's say I really want to get a move on. I shouldn't be able to move over land just as far as I can over sea. So if I go into Drakkar, my campaign movement range will go up by 100% or up to 100%. So upkeep will go up too, but again, you'll be able to move a lot further out. Now, there are new faction effects for following the gods. These are faction wide, and let's go look at it right now. Let's say for the Hound. So level 1, 10% to your weapon strength. Level 2, your unit experience will go up by plus 100 whenever, you know, you're just around. That's it. So by the time you get to level 2, you'll be getting a free 100 XP per turn for your units. Your income from raiding will go up by 25%. And over here, let's go look at what we gain. Recruitment duration, -1 for all units. So it's got to have a minimum of 1. But still, you can really lower how long it takes to recruit elites by doing that. And let's see, what else do we get? Enable recruitment of Blessed Marauder Champions unit. A unique, and like there's a few things from the actual vanilla here, but if you look at it, it really rewards you now for going down any of these routes. Like over here, Champion of the Eagle, you'll have your public order. You'll be able to have a lot more magic. Your cooldown for all of your spells will go down by 25%. Your research will go up by 25%. And so every time you specialize, it really helps you out. So if we went down the route of Slanesh or the Serpent, the upkeep for your lords and embedded characters will go down by half. Imagine the immense cost of having a lord, and then you cut it in half here. That's really going to change things up for you when it comes to your finances. So now you really have to sit here and think, which one do I want? Which one would be viable? And which one will benefit me for my type of playthrough? We all have different playthrough styles. And so now you have 4 different options that will truly flesh out your campaign. Whenever you raise, each god now gives different buffs for each god. The Hound is +5 to melee attack army-wide. The Crow is +10 to your growth faction-wide. The Eagle is +2 to public order faction-wide, and the Serpent is -5% to your upkeep army-wide. So you can see each one here has really changed up. And as you level up, each reward will begin to change too. So for now, we're going to go for the Eagle. Done. You can see how that's all changed up. Let's go look at technology. When it comes to technology now, you can see that there's just a lot for you to look at and a lot for you to choose when it comes to what you want to pick up. Campaign movement range, more money from sacking, you're able to recruit better units, just a bunch of things like that too. Or at least you're able to hunt down better units. And over here, let's see. We need to occupy certain locations in order to take what they have and to gain their knowledge. And over here we do have Scavengers of the New World. So if you want to specialize in fighting some certain faction, you can do that right over here. The Tomb Kings, the Skaven, Lizardmen, High Elves, Dark Elves, and over here we do have one for the Greenskins, Vampire Counts, Empire. So there's a lot of technology to look at for this faction. And now we're going to go look at the battle that we were talking about in the very beginning. So let's get back to that real fast. Well, right after we look at what we have over here for Wulfric. Yeah, he's got his own new abilities right over here where he's going to be a much more interesting character. We can have him decrease public order. We can have him just really do a lot more, such as hunting down larger creatures. Dear God, a mammoth wrestler. So then I grabbed him by the trunk and threw him into the bay. Remember that next time you feel like whining about the cold. Plus 25 to your bonus when fighting large units. Alright, anyway, back to that battle. Let's go beat up on a high elf. The last bit of information that I'll share with you as it pertains to Norsca. Oh, one more thing too. Rage and Berserk change in stats growing over time. Berserk now increases the unit's movement speed and provides perfect vigor on the last stage. Rage now also increases melee defense on the last stage too. So if we go look over here, we can check out Berserk, and you can see how that begins to evolve over the course of a fight, where they'll become juggernauts. I mean, the longer they fight, the better off they are. You want them to be in a battle for a longer period of time, and it does look like Alithanaar is having a pretty tough time. So, here's going to end my little introduction to the new update for Still Faith Overhaul 2. If you would like to check it out down below, make sure that you do. And don't forget to rate their modification and to leave any feedback that you have. Oh, and beyond that, I'll be having a Norscan campaign coming out probably tomorrow. So make sure that you check that out on my channel. And if you have any type of feedback from me, any type of question from me, leave it down below and I'll be sure to read your comment and get back to you. But I do hope that you enjoyed this, and as always, until then.